Hey guys, over the last few months, a lot of you asked me to review some videos by Anthony Chaffee. The reason I hadn't done that is because the message of the so-called carnivore diet, which I call the fake carnivore diet, is similar to my message, except that they promote cooking their food, which I'm really against, and they also religiously avoid carbohydrates for no real reason. Those are the main two things that I will go over today.
When you slow cook it like that, it breaks down the collagen and makes it more bioavailable.
Absolutely no proof. As I just said, actually, absolutely religious. There's just as much proof for that as there is for anything in the Bible. Just zero proof. And they just religiously repeat this, and nobody can prove it. And it's a problem because a lot of people will watch it and just blindly believe people like him, because there's a lot of these so-called carnivore guys out there, but he's one of the main ones as far as I know, which is why, seeing as people have this sheep mindset where they just blindly follow, a lot of them will simply believe that this is true, even though it's not at all. Obviously, it's destroyed, it's denatured. You already get less of it anyway.
Obviously, it just falls apart. You can chew it easier. You can eat it much more easily. Your body can digest it and absorb it much more easily.
No proof whatsoever. Just so religious. What else can you say? Just nothing, because there's no proof, there's no arguments, no reasoning, just nothing. There's just nothing even you can respond to.
As well. So you do get a lot more bioavailability out of it. Obviously, some things are cooked out, like taurine and glutamine.
Actually, literally all of the nutrients are heat sensitive, except that some are more heat sensitive, such as the water soluble vitamins. As we can see in studies, they are destroyed very significantly. It just depends on how much you cook your food. It should be clearly understood that cooking has zero benefits, as in literally zero, just nothing. And there's no proof that it has any benefits, obviously, because cooking is just exposing your food to heat, which is always destructive. So when you cook, you really destroy your food. So really, cooking should have only ever been called destroying your food. Hey, do you want me to destroy some food for you today? Oh yeah, when are you going to destroy your food? In 15 minutes. Okay, come then. Let's have dinner together with this destroyed food. It should have never been called anything else. The language really makes it sound like something else. It's the same with fasting. Call it starving and it sounds very different. Language really manipulates our minds, and cooking is really one of the most manipulative words, because nowadays it means something completely else, whereas in reality it should only mean destroying your food. How long are you going to cook your food is going to also determine how many of the nutrients will be gone. Cook it to charcoal, zero left. Cook it well done, over 50% of the protein, B vitamins, fat-soluble vitamins gone. Cook it rare, not that much gone. Yeah, it's raw in the middle. That's why there's a lot of nutrients left. You can literally see it with your own eyes.
And other sorts of things denature when you cook them, but then you...
Denaturing anything in your life is not good, but especially food.
You get a lot of access to other things that you wouldn't otherwise.
What, again, is he simply going to say other things and then not name anything? Because that's how these videos usually go.
Like those really tough connective tissue that is really...
What other things? You didn't name anything. The connective tissue is the connective tissue. There's no proof that you cannot digest it well. None at all. So he says other things, but I'm pretty sure that he's not going to name anything. And that's always how it is with these videos. That's really the biggest problem with the fake carnivore diet. It's these religious beliefs that they have.
Difficult to digest. Otherwise, that just breaks down and is absorbed very easily. So yeah, you gotta mix them both. It's this.
Yeah, just nothing. It's exactly what you can expect from these videos. Just nothing. No proof, no arguments, no reasoning.
Some things become more bioavailable, some things you sort of lose.
Which things? Which things? You didn't name anything. Obviously, nothing can become more bioavailable when you destroy it. It's just so illogical even. Them not having any evidence for what they say is already proof enough. But then to just not name anything, but then say that there's stuff that becomes bioavailable, that should ring every red alarm in your head. It should just make you understand that they just talk and they have nothing to actually say.
You have 4 grams of glucose throughout your entire bloodstream at any given time. That's just a level teaspoon glucose. 1 more gram, 5 grams, that's a toxic dose of glucose in your body. Your body reacts to it as a toxin.
Actually, that's not even true. It differs, but it's pretty low compared to what you eat. We'll see what he says.
Trying to detoxify it by raising your insulin, trying to get that below 4 grams.
Detoxify by raising your insulin? What? Is this a joke? Wait, what? The insulin is produced by your pancreas, and in this case the purpose of it is to transport the sugar to your cells for you to create energy. It's not for you to detoxify. Where does he get this? Do people actually watch that and just, again, blindly believe that? Same with the cooked meat. And this is a huge problem in this community.
And if it maintains above 4 grams and you have diabetes, that's when people start dying and getting multi-organ failure and getting...
The way he talks is as if you shouldn't be consuming more than 0 carbohydrates, as in a 0 carb carnivore diet. And then people watch this and believe, oh, what? Over 4 grams of sugar in my blood is toxic. Oh no, I cannot eat carbs anymore. Oh wow, I was eating a toxic diet all along. They probably were actually, but it's not the sugar that's toxic. Oh my god, man. It probably really is like this. There's just way too many religious beliefs that people blindly believe in this community. There is no diet without glycogen in nature. You eat the liver, you're already getting maybe 100 grams of carbohydrates, depends on the animal. You're getting a little bit from the blood also, from the muscles, if it's very, very fresh and you right away eat the animal. Not the kind of meat that you will eat today, which is old and dried out.
Limbs hacked off and kidneys failing and dying. It's because of that one.
Oh my god, man. This is really bad. This is absolute fear-mongering. This is messed up that he's doing this, because people who have no idea about this topic, they will just blindly believe him and be afraid of eating sugar, even though there is no such a diet in nature.
Extra gram of glucose. We're throwing in hundreds of extra grams of glucose and fructose and...
Yeah, and eating 300, 400, 500 grams of carbs a day is abnormal. It would happen sometimes in nature. You would find a tree with wild fruits, and a lot of them are sweet, sure. Most of the ones that we eat today are cultivated and over-the-top sweet, but there are actual very sweet fruits in nature. They just have a bigger seed, a thicker shell, depending on the fruit, and a lot less fruit flesh, but it's possible that you would find that now and then. You would also find honey now and then, maybe very rarely, depending on where you live. But if you would, then you would eat hundreds of grams of carbohydrates at a time. Again, eating that every day, especially the junk carbohydrates that we eat today, is bad, yeah. And it can lead to diabetes type 2 easily anyway. And type 1, that's a different topic, but that's why children get it a lot nowadays, just because of what they consume. As babies already, it's already wrong right there from the beginning.
Lactose and all these sorts of things, that's harming you. And your body can compensate for that for a while, but not forever. Is fat or protein more important? I have trouble sleeping on carnivore. Any tips? Also, are fruit and honey still bad even though it's different sugar? Well, the problem is it's not different sugar. It's exactly the same kind of sugar. It's fructose and sucrose, and actually the honey has quite a lot of fructose. And so that's the point. I mean, the idea is that it is the same sugar. It's just that it comes with other things that are beneficial, but that's the...
Yes, exactly. Fruits come with vitamin C, for example. Of course, DHAA, the animal vitamin C, which we use, is a lot better, but it does help you to metabolize the sugar. That's the main purpose of it. That's why wild fruits have a lot of vitamin C, but very little sugar in comparison. Nowadays, it's kind of the other way around. So even though you're eating oranges, you're not getting enough vitamin C compared to the sugar that you're getting. It is a pretty big problem because you're going to be using the vitamin C in your liver, spleen, wherever it will be stored from your own body. You're going to be depleting yourself also from magnesium and all of the minerals that you need to use to metabolize the sugar. The biggest problem is when you're eating extracted sugar, all of the syrups nowadays also, then you're eating basically pure sugar, probably with some harmful toxins also because of the way it's made today. And then you're going to be using purely all of the nutrients from your own body to metabolize the sugar. That's really the biggest problem with eating extracted sugar. You can say that it's technically the same sugar, but you really need to be getting sugar from whole foods, if anything.
Same thing as saying that spinach has, these different vitamins and minerals, and there are good things, and so that offsets the bad things that are in
There's nothing really good in spinach.
there. It doesn't. It's not good enough to make up for the stuff that's harmful in it, in my opinion.
What exactly is harmful in it? The sugar? Or what do you mean? How is sugar in itself harmful? You can really, really overdo it when you eat especially processed junk food today, which is full of drugs and makes you addicted to it, which is why you go back and consume donuts, for example, grains, the starch. That's all clear. I'm sure that everybody nowadays understands it, even though a lot of people still eat that. But what is actually the problem with fruits themselves, especially if they are wild? We'll see what he says.
So yeah, I don't have anything to do with fruit and honey. I have a video just called Fruit and Honey Are Not Carnivore, and I sort of go through.
Yes, when you define the carnivore so-called diet as you eating a bunch of cooked meat, sure. But the biological definition of a carnivore is an animal that eats at least 20% of raw meat. That's it. So even if an animal is eating 20% raw meat, he hunts some animals, and the rest is plants, fruits, whatever, 80% fruits, then he's a carnivore by definition, biologically. And a human who eats 100% cooked meat is not a carnivore by definition. There's just no animals that eat cooked meat. Yes, I get it. You're still eating meat. That's all fine. But if we really want to perfectly define it, the carnivore diet has just nothing to do with actual carnivores, which is why the title of the diet is a joke. And fruits and honey can absolutely be part of a real carnivore's diet. And it is actually very often, because these carnivores will hunt animals and sometimes also eat a bunch of fruits, honey, whatever they can find. So it's again a kind of religious belief, some kind of dogma to just completely go against sugar and say it's not carnivore. It's kind of like an ED, essentially. That's what we could see with the Steak and Butter gal. She has videos of her creating fake pancakes, fake bread, fake ice cream, because she craves sugar so much. And I think that people like him influence these people, again, without giving any actual reasons or arguments, although there's some arguments possibly coming up now.
For all that, fruit, it's, the plant wants something to eat the fruit, but it doesn't necessarily want you to eat the fruit. It wants an animal that it's co-evolved with to eat the fruit. And
co-evolved, what does that mean? Of course, humans in nature eat fruits, especially in tropical, subtropical climates, but really in any climates. Even in the coldest climates, we always ate berries.
Pass its seeds around. But a lot of these fruits and berries co-evolve with birds, and most fruit and berry on Earth will kill you. And if you're out in the woods and you see these little bulbs and berries and things like that you don't recognize, bad idea to eat them.
True, there are a lot of poisonous ones out there. Of course, it's easy to see which ones are poisonous, especially if you just put it to your tongue, you right away taste it. You wouldn't eat it anyway.
They will likely kill you. And that was a traditional sort of thing when you're out in the woods. You never eat red berries. You just don't eat random red berries that you don't see, because that's a warning. This is a red, like.
Really? Red? Red is a warning? Why would red be a warning? Red is what creates our appetite. When we see red food, we want to eat it. Meat and blood. Not your cooked brown gray meat, of course. And the strawberries, which are small in nature, the wild ones, those are edible. They taste good. I ate them always as a child. I picked them in the forest. Yeah. Not making much sense here.
Don't eat me, I'll kill you, sort of thing, or to attract birds and things like that.
No, not at all. I would agree maybe with something green, something very strongly, I don't even know, purple? Blueberries, I guess, are blue. Some very strange colors like that, maybe, yes. But red?
So anyway, it's not a good idea to eat random fruit or berries, and even though the plant wants something to eat it, it doesn't want you to eat it. So still, the majority of fruit will kill you. The cassowary bird eats about 150 different types of fruit in the tropics. And, these are tropical fruits. The tropical fruits are all great. No, they're not. Every single one of those fruits will kill you. Every single one of those fruits will kill anything except the cassowary bird. Because if those seeds don't go through the gut of a cassowary bird, they don't turn into a plant. They don't germinate. And so if a cassowary bird leaves that area, those plants die out. So it has to be very attractive to a cassowary bird.
There are for sure animals out there which are more adapted, so to speak, to eat certain plants, fruits, seeds. Squirrels, for example, can eat nuts much more easily than a human because they produce phytase, which fights against phytic acid. It's much easier for them to digest it and actually not be affected by the phytic acid so much. Of course, yeah, that's just naturally how it is. But again, if you would take any of these toxic fruits and put them to your tongue, you would right away know not to eat it. It's not as if you can accidentally make this mistake.
And very detrimental to anything else trying to eat it. And so, it is not the case that even the fruit that we eat, even the sweet fruit, don't have any toxins. They do. And they have a lot more toxins when they're not ripe because the seeds aren't ready yet. The problem is we don't pick these things right. If you picked them ripe in your own yard, you had an avocado tree or something like that, it's going to be better than what it would be if you buy it from the store. But if you buy it from the store, they pick these things green. And the plant has to take out the toxins. We've seen this in studies with tomatoes. That you pick them green, they don't actually detoxify. It's not like they just break down in the
This is a good point, for sure.
Fruit into harmless byproducts, right? They retain all of those. It's the vine ripened ones that have less toxins in them because the plant is pulling out those toxins. But if you pick it early, when the seeds aren't ready, that still has all of its defenses intact. Good luck buying fruit from a store that has not been picked green, right? Because that's just how they travel. I mean, some of these apples, you eat an apple today, it's an apple that was picked a year ago, and it was picked green, So that's...
Yeah, the way they produce apples today and sell them, they can be very old. I don't eat apples whatsoever.
People don't realize this. The fiber is an anti-nutrient. It actually blocks out the absorption of many nutrients.
Technically, this is true because a lot of the nutrients are in the fiber. It's hard to get to the nutrients. That's what people don't understand when they eat plants, seeds. And then, of course, afterwards, when you ingest this, it also blocks the absorption even more. If you're eating other foods along with these plants, which is oftentimes the case today.
Stops you from absorbing things. And people say, oh, that's a good thing. You'll absorb less of the stuff that you eat. Oh, that's great, because we don't want to absorb all these things we eat. Why'd you eat it? Right? We eat things in order to gain nutrients and so we can absorb them. Yeah, if you're eating high-octane garbage, then yeah, sure, reducing the amount that you absorb is probably a good idea, but you're still absorbing some.
Yeah, this is also what they say about low glycemic foods and high glycemic foods. It really just means that some of the carbohydrate foods are not as easily digested, which is why you will not absorb the sugar as quickly. Your blood sugar will not spike as much. That's about it. It's really just a different way to say that.
And, probably just a better idea just not to eat it at all.
I think that you pretty much get the idea of what these fake carnivores talk about. Again, overall, their message is great. They explain to people how plants are harmful, the fiber, anti-nutrients, all of the toxins. They talk about fruit as if it's also almost toxic, which is obviously wrong. And the cooking is also something that they talk about religiously, as you could see. No proof, no evidence, no arguments even, no reasoning, just saying, makes something else more bioavailable. What is more bioavailable? I don't know. It just is like that. Where's the proof? There is no proof. Yeah, that's really the biggest problem. It's kind of a joke in this community. And I've talked to a lot of these people, and of course none of them can give any proof for any of this. Raw meat, for the most part, hasn't even been studied anyway. There's very few studies which I found over the years about raw and cooked meat. There are a few which compare the nutrients in both, always obviously showing how many less nutrients there are in cooked meat. But that's really about it. There's not that much more that you can find. Just don't misunderstand me. This is for sure not an attack on Anthony Chaffee or any of these people, because for the most part, I like what they promote. They are promoting a diet which is way better than what most people eat today. It's just that when you go on this fake carnivore diet, eventually you will crave some carbohydrates again, and then you may end up recreating pancakes, what you could see in Steak and Butter Girl's video, ice cream, and the freaking bread also. That's actual insanity. Just eat what you exactly want to eat, what your senses are asking for, as long as the food is natural. Try eating some raw meat dishes here and there also. Some of the people on the fake carnivore diet also eat some raw meat here and there. Paul Saladino also eats raw liver now and then. As far as I understand, he takes it as a multivitamin supplement. That's a pretty good idea. Just pop in some raw liver now and then, cut it into cubes. Even if it's frozen, it's still gonna give you many beneficial nutrients. It is really the most nutritious food there is. It's incredibly important to eat it. Anybody who follows any man-made diets should cut out the religious nonsense. And it's the same for the so-called carnivore diet. Don't blindly believe that cooked meat is somehow better for you, even though all of the evidence shows that it's worse for you. And there's no evidence that it's in any way better for you, as in zero evidence. And don't go against your senses just because somebody tells you that over 4 grams of sugar in your blood is toxic. Obviously, in the blood, there won't be much more sugar than that, but of course in your body, in your brain, in your eye cells, you need the sugar for these cells especially. There's just certain parts of your body which require sugar. That's why there is the mechanism of gluconeogenesis. When you convert protein into sugar, the body does it for a reason. Obviously, it's not toxic except if you eat processed junk carbohydrates, 500 grams a day. If you eat some fruits, when you crave them, it's absolutely fine. Don't religiously go against your senses. If you want something sweet, then eat it. Just don't start eating garbage carbs. Don't start creating and imitating bread, pancakes, and all of this garbage. Eat some fruits when you have these cravings, and then you won't have these stupid junk food cravings. It's just really insane what some of those people are doing. Thanks for watching.